This makes maybe more sense in context of kind of the Japanese copyright tradition, which basically says if you have so Western copyright, usually the way it works is if somebody makes something, you want to make something based on it, well, too bad. You have to go explicitly ask their permission, except for certain limited circumstances. In Japanese copyright, it's basically, however, if it's limited private distribution, generally that's not a problem. And so that's why you have, in Japan, these really big events like Comic-Con, where you have literally hundreds of people that are selling comics and music and stuff based on stuff other people, and nobody's suing their pants off unless they, go way overboard and make like 100,000 copies, which has happened once or twice. But other than that, it's generally okay. And so Zune has also explicitly said, if you enjoy Toho and you want to make music or something based off of it, as long as it's in the general spirit of the series and isn't illegal, because he has to say that, you can pretty much do what you want. And as long as it's not commercial, I'm not going to be too worried about it. So fans have taken that and really run with it. And since Zune says it's okay, we're going to do all this stuff because we think it's really interesting. And he also plays, or has in the past played the trumpet, and has his own personal one.
That puts the soundtrack to Imperishable Night in a really interesting context, for those of you who remember that game.
Oh my god, perfect. The loudest piano ever.
So he also he had never been to North America before until last September. He made his first US visit on a weekend in Atlanta. And Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you had questions. And there's plenty of stuff to talk about with that. Some of the stuff we got to do is there was a couple. There was at least. Was there only the one? I think there was only the one panel where we basically sat there for an hour and a half and got to ask him questions about various things. And of course, he sat there drinking his alcohol the entire time because that's what he does. That's how he rolls. The most important question, one of the two most important questions that was asked, we thought was the most important one, enough to be worth putting it as the very first one, is one of the many questions people asked was, why aren't there more boys in the game? And the answer was, they get in the way. That's why the cast is all female, yes. He actively likes that his fans build on his works, so go out and do so, please. He appreciates it a lot. He does say that he tries to actively avoid getting immersed in them because of one of two things. One, he might start getting ideas. And two, he might start getting jealous that they did a better job of expanding on his characters than he did. He likes the idea of Steam, but it is unlikely that the games will appear there because there's a lot of work involved in that. However, he did say recently he is generically very interested in overseas sales. I know that one of the things he would like to do, because he does everything for the games, I believe he has explicitly said he would like to do the English translation as well if possible, but we'll see. We'll see if that holds up, if he's committed to that, or if he decides to hire someone or get one of the fan groups to do it for him.
Or if the quality of his artwork matches the quality of his English.
One of the reasons he'd never come to North America is because he assumed the fan base here was really niche, really small. He was completely floored by the turnouts that showed up at Anime Weekend in Atlanta.
Yeah, there were like 700 people that were there exclusively because it was there.
Yeah, it was it was large enough that the AWA staff was like, wow, we were not expecting this at all. They were, unfortunately, a little bit underprepared for the turnout they got. I don't think they knew, but they didn't really know just how rabid this whole thing was going to be, and it kind of bit them in several places. But it all worked out. We all had a great weekend, and it was absolutely fabulous. And then included this. So that strip down, this down here, this was a special gift to Zune. We will now have Paige come up and talk about this. She was a part of the production of this, describe what's going on here, and why there are 7 jillion people waving their hands in the air. I can talk really well. Words are hard. Yeah, go ahead and make sure that mic works. If not, you can sit over here. That one's on.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, actually, no, go ahead. Go ahead. I changed my mind. Go ahead.
Hi everybody, I'm Paige. I drew 2 characters for this scroll. I drew Tierno and I drew Yugi. If any of you have seen the scroll, you probably know who they are. If not, we can point them out for you. Basically, this whole thing was run by a guy named Totaku, and he started contacting artists months and months before that the scroll even came to fruition. Like, way before AWA, he was gathering artists, gathering ideas, and talking to people, and he started talking to artists, asking them if they wanted to participate in this, and he started to talk to people, and he created a forum where we could bounce ideas off each other. We started making lists of what characters we wanted to do. We started making sketches. We started like sharing our ideas and our sketches and getting critique. So I was not invited by him because he started inviting a lot of the really, really popular artists in the Western fandom. I'm still relatively unknown because I'm so young, but basically there was like a Tumblr post going around that I saw, and I saw this post and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, and you know, we're just gonna start working on this giant project together, and I thought it sounded neat. So basically it was just describing it as like an artist is gonna like do each character, and I thought that would be fun because there's so many total characters, like what you said, like there's like 154, something like that. So obviously we didn't do all 154 because one, half of them like didn't exist by the time that this happened. Like the double dealing character wasn't out at this time, and 2, some of them are like the giant catfish. Like, who cares? But he made a list of characters that we were going to officially do. By the time that the scroll was finished, the demo for double dealing character had come out, I believe. Or did the final one come out? I know we had the demo in like the middle of the summer. So, okay, the final one was out, but we had the 3 beginning characters from the demo. We had them at the very, very end. But basically, I approached him and I asked him if I could join the project, and he said, yes, absolutely. He said, I love your art. I would love to have you as a part of the project. And at first when I was thinking about this, I was like, you know, it's probably gonna be one of those things that, you know, you start doing and then people start giving up on it, and then nobody ends up actually finishing it. But this guy, Totaku, he is so dedicated to this project that he did basically all of the organizing by himself, and that was truly amazing because without him, we would have never been able to organize this entire project and finish it in the time frame that we did. And that was totally amazing, and I have a lot of respect for him for that. I know a lot of people don't like the way that he ran the project, but just the fact that he organized all of this and brought this amazing thing to fruition is just really something that not a lot of people can do.
Where is yours?
Where's mine?
Yeah. Yes.
I just gave it.
Okay. All right. So this is the end result. And by the way, the Totaku was the guy I circled with the cursor there. Be very, very careful with this. Each of the artists got one of these, by the way. Yes. I will. Okay. Hold that. Yes. This
is a mini version. This is only half size, and this is 10 feet long. So the original one is 20 feet long. I never got to see it in person, but that one in the picture is the one that was actually given to Zoom, I believe. Yes, it was. Okay, I was not at AWA, but when I first saw this picture, I was like in tears because I couldn't believe that this had actually happened. Like, some guy just randomly had an idea to show our appreciation for the man who brought us this amazing series, and nobody thought it would actually happen. And there's just a picture of him like smiling and holding it with all the Western fans, and I think that's probably one of the best parts of this entire project. Because it took us months and months, and this is our like final end result, and it's just so amazing to see all of the fans together. Like, that Zune had no idea that they would even do something like this for him. And just, you can tell from the picture that he's like super happy. Like, everybody's just having a good time, and I wish I was there, but we can't always get what we want.
All right. We actually did have, Paige was one of many contributors from the New England area, out in the Boston area. For those of you that are in this room right now that contributed to this project, please stand up so we can thank you for all the hard work you put into this. I have three Zachs back there, Ruben, Mina, and I have Xander, who's currently managing the video game stuff because he was a part of the production of this as well. I should say, I meant to say this before to introduce her. I knew several of the people that were going to be here and worked on this. They're all really great people, and I wasn't quite sure who to ask to talk about this. And I'm looking at my Tumblr dash one morning, and I see a post complaining about someone accidentally signing up for a public speaking class at 8 in the morning.
That might have
So
been me.
my first thought is to laugh because I'm a horrible person. Like, how do you accidentally sign up for an 8 a.m. class? But then I think if that happens to you, I think you deserve to be asked first. So that was
Like I said.
that was the reason I asked her first.
That might have been me. Is there anything that I'm immediately missing?
I think we're all set. Thank you very much
Okay.
for all your information. This here is Kotaku, by the way. Wearing his shirts that we will discuss. Is there anyone in the room right now that's wearing an AWA t-shirt? Okay, well don't show it yet. We'll talk about that in a bit. That will come up. There's stories to tell about that shirt. All right, some of the other questions that were asked of him.